All right, so hands down, the number one question I think anyone will get asked, at least in my experience, whenever someone notices you have a good physique in real life or on social media, it doesn't matter. The number one question is how long have you been lifting? For me, the answer is 8 years, and I actually have, no joke, 8 years worth of photos of almost, I'd probably say like 80% or even more of every single day that I've worked out, and then taking photos in the locker room with like a pump as like a steady progress type of, album of photos, right? So I'm going to be going over my 8 year transformation in this video, starting from 16, I think like 15 and a half years old, all the way up till 23 years old, which is present day, and go over all of the kind of the differences that I had in my diet, training, stuff like that, that made the biggest impacts on my physique. What works, what doesn't, the type of training I prefer, and then after 8 years, like what is my actual routine and what I think is kind of like the mandatories that you have to grow. And let's start off with a couple. I was going to start off directly like when I was 15, but I wanted to show what the physique is looking like right now. So I have, I think, like 200 something photos on here. I'm going to skim through most of them so the video doesn't take up too much time. But this is current physique. It's about like 2, 3 weeks ago. The weight is 220 pounds at 5'9". This is, I think, like on an arm day, so a little bit of an arm pump going on. But yeah, pretty solid physique at the moment. You get the point there. So this now is the furthest back photo I can find from when I was literally 15. I think this was sophomore year of high school, like incredibly skinny, right? I was a late bloomer. So all of these photos that you're going to see on the bottom here, all the way up till here, like from 15 and a half to about 17-ish, about 17 years old. So like a year and a half of training. This entire block of time, right, is pretty much the same routine. And this goes for most of the blocks of training. So I would do like a year and a half, 2 years of a specific training style. For this, it was just the ordinary push-pull legs. And then there was a period of time when I switched to a different split, different type of training style as well, not just like normal sets and reps. It was more drop sets, supersets. I'll go over all that when that time comes, when I actually enter that time dispensation. But starting off here, first getting into working out, at least in the gym, I was always doing body weight. I built a pretty good foundation doing body weight before I started going to the gym. So I really started training at like 13, 12, 13, 14 years old, but I was just training like just basic pull-ups, right? 4 sets of 30 push-ups, sit-ups, and then like squats, right? It's not like a real workout, but for a 13, 14-year-old kid, you're going to be pretty sore. But that was kind of my foundation. My dad built like a pull-up bar in the backyard, and I would do thousands of pull-ups on that thing, try muscle ups and all those weird calisthenic movements. So I did start with calisthenics, but I kind of pulled away from that as soon as I got my gym membership. So this is 16. That was 15 before. This is 16. Push-pull legs. I would always start with 5x5s. And I think this is one thing that I kind of carried throughout all the years of training. I would always start with strength training and then do the auxiliary lifts after the strength training. So some people, they choose one side, right? They're like, strength or hypertrophy, which side am I going to pick? Am I going to be power lifter, bodybuilder? And then there's power building. I don't really pick any of that. I just find what works best. In my case, I tend to grow faster when I have strength training involved in the workout, but it's not kind of the staple of the workout, if that makes sense. So I start off with like a pretty heavy 5x5 on the main compound lifts. I don't really do deadlifts anymore. I do squat, bench, and then maybe like some barbell rows, but that's kind of far and infrequent, not as much as before. But basically, squats and bench press, I would say, are the only movements that I'm currently doing 5x5s on. But here I was doing deadlift, squat, and bench, and barbell rows that I would do 5x5s on. And then everything else was auxiliary. This was like 16 and a half. You can tell, like, the gains are becoming a lot more noticeable. This was junior year of high school. So the weight here was like 130 pounds, super skinny. I think it was like 125 actually. Um, it's hard to remember. I think 120 to 130, somewhere around there. At 16 years old, I had a pretty good like reaction for a year and a half ish of just training. The diet was pretty simple. I would just eat 3 meals a day. I didn't really take protein shakes. I had probably like 20 to 30 grams of protein per meal, so not a lot of protein. But there was some decent development here because I was just so consistent. I mean, I would train 6 days a week, no exceptions. Like, I was obsessed with the gym, like watching so many videos, Gymshark videos, all those athletes, like, what's their face? Like Steve Cook, Hodge twins. I would watch all of those, like, OG kind of, in the original beginning of the fitness industry, and that kind of got me deeper into it, like David Lade. But they definitely heavily influenced me because I was obsessed with working out. But it was just push-pull legs. I just kept doing that. 5x5s to start off the workouts. Auxiliary lifts, I would do like 4 sets of about 12, maybe 15 reps. But that was very basic. I wouldn't do drop sets. I wouldn't do supersets. I think this is a video. Just flexing the quads. The quads are pretty small, but you can see the teardrop coming in. Let's keep going here. Is this a video as well? The back started coming in a lot more for 16 and a half. Like, you can immediately tell when someone is genetically gifted in a certain area just by how disproportionately, like, aesthetic a certain body part is over the rest. Like, the physique for my age and, weight looked pretty solid. Like, you could tell, okay, he has good genetics, but the back was, like, one of my strong points, I would say, just because I had such a good foundation as well from doing thousands of pull-ups before I even stepped a foot into the gym. But let's keep going. This is like 140 pounds, push-pull legs. Man, I stayed lean year-round. That's the theme you're going to notice throughout all these photos, is that there was never a time that I can recall that I was above, I would say, like 11% body fat. Maybe, I can't really tell for sure. Maybe in 2022 I pushed it to like maybe 12%, but I was also super watery, so I can't really tell for sure. But I was lean my entire life. I don't know if it's like low ghrelin levels. I'm just not really that hungry. So I've never had an issue with like overeating or anything. It was quite the opposite, actually. I had a lot of trouble with trying to force myself to eat because in general, I'm not really a hungry person. That's changed recently. Being 220, you kind of, maybe when you have more muscle, your body has to adjust and you're hungrier. But throughout all these years, I didn't really keep a diet. Let's see here. Pretty aesthetic, the striations. But yeah, I didn't really keep a diet. It was more like 2,500 calories a day around this time, 30 grams of protein per meal, and then about, I'd say 3 meals, maybe 4 meals. The fourth one would be like a snack, but it stayed around 3 meals a day. Looking a lot better here. Jeez. Not bad for 16 years old. The height here, though, was like 5'5". So I was pretty short. I was a late bloomer. So I stayed 5'5" all the way up till senior year. Then I was like 5'7"-ish senior year, 5'8". And then right now, I grew a little bit more after senior year. So I was like a really big late bloomer, like super late. But this was, yeah, like 5'7" here, about 145, 150 pounds, I think, right here. But you'll notice the delts were always lagging. Traps were lagging. Upper chest was there, but there was no real size to it. Always lean. If I just ate more, I feel like I would have put on more muscle because there were times where I was just accidentally in a deficit for like months at a time, and I don't know why. My workouts were hella shitty, and I just didn't realize that just because I think I'm eating maintenance doesn't mean my activity level for like walking around different classes, track practice after school, like things like that played a factor in your maintenance calories. So I thought I was eating maintenance, but it was likely deficit. Because you don't just stay lean like this without trying, you know? Let's see here. Veins started popping out way more. But you get the point here. Just push-pull legs. This one, I think I pushed like 165 body weight here. So this is still all the same split. I think over here, like around this time, yeah, this is after I graduated, so this is 18 years old. This is when I switched to the Arnold split. So if you guys don't know what the Arnold split is, for the people who don't know, it's pretty popular split. It's chest and back together. It's arms and delts together, legs, repeat, and then rest. So you just hit those and then you rest. So it's like back to back. You don't really have any days of rest in between. Similar to a push-pull legs, you're hitting each muscle group twice a week, and then you rest on Sunday. But I'll talk about what I've changed when we get to that point, but I don't really like that type of training style anymore. But it did work, and that's what I did during this process of growth. The back was getting crazy here. About 17, 18. The photos aren't in perfect order. I tried to do it to the best of my memory, but there might be some photos that slip in from like a few months earlier or whatever. This was when I was prepping for my show. I did one men's physique competition, teen division, when I was 18 years old. And this was me during the prep. So this was like, this is like 6 weeks out, maybe 4 weeks out. I'm not entirely sure, but you could tell like a lot leaner here. The workouts were tough. I mean, they were like, I could barely make it through the workout. Like I would have to take, during this cut, I used a lot of 1,3-dimethylaminine just to get through a lot of the workouts from how tired I was feeling. My knees would just buckle randomly as I'm like walking up and down steps. I hated the deficit. But I mean, shit, it showed. Like the veins are coming out a lot more. There's probably like 7% body fat here. Maybe 6. I don't know for sure. Legs tiny. See, I look big here, right? But when I'm actually facing front, tiny. Like super tiny. I was like 156 pounds stage weight. So this is probably, I'd say about 160 because this is still like 4 weeks out. I still had a little bit more water weight to drain. Still doing Arnold split. This is the night before the show. You can see the spray tan on. But yeah, I mean, I was looking great. Small, but shredded. And I didn't have a coach. I literally watched videos on how to do men's physique posing like a week before my show. Don't recommend that for anybody doing that, obviously. But me, I just kind of played it by ear. I didn't really take the competition too seriously. I was just doing it sort of for fun to give myself a goal. I took the cut very seriously. I was very disciplined with the cut. Like I never once cheated on my diet. But it sucked, and I hated it. And I haven't competed since because I just hate the dieting process so much. I think just from how bad, like how negative my experience with dieting was here, it genuinely, like it, competing just is not an attractive thing for me. Like I don't want to do it. I might do one again. It's like, why not? I'm looking good, so might as well. This was the show day. This is, I think, after. Yeah, so I got the thing here. So I placed first in teen division, but there was not really much competition. Nobody was stage lean, but it's like an amateur NPC teen division, which is 18 and 19 years old. So, I mean, not too much of an accomplishment, but still. The guy I was up against that took second, he was a lot bigger than me, I would say, probably like 15, 20 pounds bigger than me. But he just was not lean, so took the dub there. Here's the quads. The quads started popping a lot more. I was progressively overloading squats like crazy. I mean, like religiously doing squats. I did not miss a leg day. I loved legs. So if you just force yourself somehow, like trick yourself into loving hitting legs, you'll just grow a ton. Like watch a bunch of videos of like those Olympic weightlifters and then they're on stage and their quads just look like absolutely ridiculously insane. And you're just like, shit, I want that. You can like trick yourself to love leg day. It's weird. And that's what I've done with my entire workout process was this is not discipline. Like people think, oh, discipline, hard work. There's videos on Instagram to like be all motivational. Dude, I just loved the gym. It was my favorite part of the day. Like taking with your friend in the car, with your training partner, blasting music and just hitting the gym. I was obsessed. Like you don't need discipline. This is light work. This is the best part of my day at this age. 19 years old here. I think 18 and a half, close to 19 years old here. Still doing push-pull legs, and I went back and forth between the bro split. I did the bro split for a little while, maybe like 3 months. I liked it. It's cool, but you're only hitting each muscle group about once a week, right? So I don't know. I didn't want to take my chances with how that might affect the long term of how much I could possibly grow, like in the most efficient way. So I switched back to the Arnold split. I literally did the Arnold split, no joke, for like, I think like 3 years straight. It was ridiculous. All the way up until 2021, I did the Arnold split. And then when COVID happened, I was doing the body weight workouts again. So, because the gyms were closed. But, crazy back. There's just so much to go over. I mean, there's tons of photos here. But very solid physique. I noticed a lot of growth during that 2020 period with no weights, which was kind of weird. It wasn't weighted calisthenics. It was just straight up normal calisthenics. And I think the gyms opened up at the hours were like super, like they'll close at like 2 or 3 p.m. or something. But yeah, geez, the back looks insane here. So cutting to late 2020, you could see after a full year of doing these body weight workouts, the reason I was in my backyard because I was literally hitting pull-ups on that metal pull-up bar that my dad made me when I was like 14 or something. So I was back to the body weight workouts for like 6 months, 7 months straight. The gyms opened back up again, went straight back to push-pull legs. No, not push-pull legs, sorry, the Arnold split. And then late 2020, 183 pounds here, I tweaked a few things. So not like physically, I mean I tweaked up what I was doing. So push-pull legs, pretty self-explanatory, right? Chest back, arms, delts and legs, the Arnold split. It's the same sets and reps I was doing. It was like 4 sets of 12, no drop sets, no supersets really. Maybe a few drop sets here and there. I wasn't really like strict about it. But as soon as 2020 came, I made some changes. I don't know what it was, but I just watched a few videos like on drop sets and supersets, and I just hate just sitting on your bench waiting for your next set to start. Like it's so boring. Like I'm just stimmed out of my mind. I want to just go, go, go. And I can't sit there and wait 3 minutes like a powerlifter or like 5 minutes waiting for to hit my next set, which you kind of have to do with strength training. So I ditched the strength training for the most part. Still did it for bench and squat, but not too often, maybe like once every other week or something. And I went straight to kind of what I'm doing now. The workouts I was doing in 2021 resemble more of what I'm doing now, which is it's a 4-day split, okay? So basically, I explained this in one of my other videos that I posted on my chest workout, but I'm doing chest by itself, back and delts, and then arms, and then legs, and then rest, repeat. So it takes me 4 days to hit all that, and then I rest, and then I do all those 4 days back to back to back again, and then I rest. So it's 4 days, rest, 4 days, rest. It doesn't follow a calendar week because it's an 8-day split technically, right? Because I'm hitting each muscle group twice every, 9 days or so, and I don't know what all the science is about that, but I do enjoy the rest way more. And I enjoy just being able to come in on a chest day and just hit chest. And you could pull out certain things. Like if your weak point is, back, you could do arms with chest and then have back by itself and just isolate the crap out of back. So you can kind of take that one day that is by itself and move it around to where you want the growth to come to. So if you have a disproportionate, let's say arms, your arms are too small for the rest of your body. Okay, that's fine. Hit chest with something else. You combine those other two, and then that day you're going to hit arms by themselves. so you can move stuff around. I just like the way it is. It can fix imbalances in your physique, and I like the fact that you can rest in between. After those 4 days are done, you could rest. Here's what the legs looked like. All I would do for a leg day was squat 5x5, and then I would hit quad extensions, hamstrings, calves, and then I would leave. That's literally it. I'm talking 2, 3, 4 years straight. That was my workout. I wouldn't do those hip thrusts, which I kind of wish I did, because your glutes, they grow from squatting, but the hip thrusts really just kill the glutes, and it does help with your squat and breaking plateaus on your squat. So I should have done that. But the quads were like my strong suit for a while, especially the teardrop, just from how many quad extensions I would do. And then there was a period in 2021 where I went like 6 months straight just squatting and calves for my leg day. Come in, do my 5x5 squat, hit my calves, like 4 sets of 20 on calves or whatever, and leave. And science-based lifters might tell you, you can't grow unless you do XYZ RPE 9.5 for, X amount of reps with 45-second rests and all these, specific, very, very specific variables. Dude, if you just squat heavy, you're going to grow. Like, these are pretty good legs here. I weigh 180 pounds at 5'9". I was squatting 405 for 5 sets of 5 consistently. And the calves can use some work, but I train the shit out of calves, and I just have high insertions. That's not an excuse. You can still have decent looking calves with high insertions. I just need to train them harder, but I just didn't really care that much. I just did them. But yeah, let's keep going. How are the quads looking here? Jeez Louise. I don't understand, dude. My quads are bigger now than that, but they're not as diced. But let's see here. Pretty solid. It's that same routine basically it's like the Arnold split, but what's it called? Supersets and drop sets version of it. So I would hit everything till failure, do the drop sets. So I would hit, like, for example, chest, right? I already did my 5x5. Now I'm doing like cable crossovers for my chest, like on the cable fly machine. I'll do 4 sets of like 15 reps, drop the weight by like 25%, go till failure again, anything above like around 10 reps-ish. I don't really track the reps in my mind. That's another thing. I don't count reps. I just pass a certain number and then just go till failure. And then, yeah, I'll drop set again maybe until it's like excruciatingly painful in a good way. And then, yeah, that's the set is over. Wait like 90 seconds, 2 minutes maybe. Hit it again and again and again. Those drop sets, and then I would superset it. So if I was doing like arms, for example, perfect example. I love arm day. Bis and tris are going to be supersetted together. I'm going to go to the bicep machine or whatever I'm doing, dumbbells, do my set, like let's say I have 30-pound dumbbells, 35-pound dumbbells, whatever. Do my hammer curls, hit like 15 reps. That's not really failure. I would have to go heavier, but whatever. This is just an example. Drop the weight to 25 pounds, hit failure again. Then I drop it to 15 pounds, hit the failure again. And that's just an example of how I would do it. And then I would go back to the tricep machine, whatever I'm doing for triceps. Let's say overhead dumbbell triceps. And then I would hit the weight at the normal weight that I'm using, drop it by a certain percentage, around like 20 to 25%, drop set it again, drop set it even again if I can, and then go back to the bicep. So I'm literally like, it's like damn near cardio. If you don't have good cardio and you don't have good sleep and your diet is not on point, you cannot sustain this. I'm just letting you know that right now. Like, don't try it. You're just going to feel burnt out and tired as shit, and your workouts are going to feel like crap after the 3rd or 4th day doing this. So you have to have your diet, sleep, all those variables on point if you're training that hard. Like, even if you have those things out of order and you're on gear, that's not good. Like, that's still not sustainable. You could probably do it, but you're not going to feel good. And, you could risk even injury if you're training ridiculously hard and you don't have your diet and sleep on point. And if you're on like a ton of gear too, yeah, that's all bad. Here's the arms. All right, I'm yapping a lot. I got to go through these photos faster. So the legs were looking really good. This is a joke, obviously. I was still natty during this time. Oh, I was still natty all the way up until mid 2023. I did my first cycle, very mild. I'll make a separate video on that, but it was super low dose, just basic, kind of like damn near TRT type of cycle, but super lean here. Looking pretty good. Let's keep going. Most of these are videos, I think. Starbucks bathroom, man. Crazy lighting. Still at a plateau here, like 180 pounds for like a year straight. It was crazy. Come on. I just don't want there to be like music playing or some shit. Here's the back. Oh, we're good. Not bad. Back again, one of my strong suits, and I'll just do like a exercise for the vertical motion for a back, so the lats to work the width, and then a horizontal movement. So like seated rows, lat pull downs, move on. Like dead ass, that was my back day for like a year, 2 years straight. People think you have to do like 4, 5, 6 exercises. It's how you do the exercise you're doing. If I come in and I do like one of those Gymshark workouts I see on their Gymshark train page, they'll have like a chest and arm or like chest and whatever, chest and triceps. They'll do like 4 exercises. Some of them have like 4 exercises for like a chest day or a push day. That's insane. Like that's actually insane. Like you do not need to do that. Like 3 exercises max. I'm not doing more than 3. Hell no. Because if you're training with those drop sets and supersets till failure, and you're doing triple drop sets and failure drop sets on all of those and forced reps on top of that, you shouldn't be able to do 3 exercises. If you're able to do 3 or 4 exercises for your just chest alone or just arms or just back, you're not doing your sets right. And that might be, I feel like actually no, that's not even controversial. People who know what they're talking about and have the physique to prove it, I think majority of them would agree with that. Like there's just no way. I can't. On exercise number 4, I'm so burnt out. If you're still good on exercise 4, either you're blasting gear or you're just not training hard enough. Let's keep going. Not bad, eh? This is 20 years old, late 2021. Jeez. I'm pulling up on the freaking sync thing, though. It's a trick, low-key. And the lighting in this bathroom's hella good. But I don't think this was a pump. But yeah, I was looking good. Okay, 2022, lost a shit ton of weight. Not a shit ton, actually. I dropped from like 185 to about 175, 176. I think this was right after I had like COVID or something. Because I remember a ton of water weight draining out. And there was this period in 2022 where I came off of sickness. And it was bad. Like 2 weeks straight was feeling terrible. It must have been like Omicron or whatever, but I gained it back pretty quickly. It was mostly water weight. Let's see here. Here's the legs. Still pretty good here. You could tell though, like still not big. Like the plateau was still there. And this is when I started switching over to those 4-day splits here and there. I was working them in, but not too much. I mean, nah, not really. They have like way skinnier people in those ads now, but this is 2020, mid 2022 when I actually started eating again. So this was actually crazy. So I cut out a lot of stimulants out of my life out of this period. Not just caffeine. That's a different video. I'll maybe talk about that. But yeah, like I started just eating again, and I went up from 185, which was like my steady 2021 weight / 2022. This was late 2022, and I pushed it up to like 192, 193. Just kept eating, and you could tell like I'm not that. This is probably like above 12% maybe. Let's see here. I can't tell. Let's see. Nah, this isn't. I would say like 11% maybe. Definitely not as lean as 2022 and 2021, but still I would say like 11% ish. But this is when I started doing my what's it called? My 4-day splits, which I love doing now. So there's a couple videos I posted on the channel talking about the 4-day split, and it's very simple. I might as well go over it in here. 200. This is when I started my first cycle. So this was, this was, I think, oh, wait, is this it? No, not all of them are right on here, but let's just see. This was like a couple months after mid 2023. I think September, yeah. Because I started my first cycle in August of 2023. So this was already like after I saturated, because it's test and then it needs like 4 weeks to saturate. This was like 2 months after being on cycle, 250 test, 200 mast. I don't care. People always like gatekeep their doses and shit. I genuinely don't care. Everybody's body's different. Don't just do what I did. Don't do it at all. I would say you don't need it. Like, you saw how good my physique was without any gear at all. I was just a gym rat, and I was just like, okay, I kind of earned it. 7 years lifting. I wanted to do a cycle. I felt like I could do it. But if you're just starting off, like, no offense, but you haven't built the foundation yet. Let's see, where was I? Over here. But yeah, like, this was it. The water weight kicked in quick. The workouts were feeling amazing. Not like a crazy difference, but it was just consistently really good workouts. I didn't feel like Hercules or anything. Jeez, this shirt was way too small with a pump. But yeah, it's a pretty big difference right away. No side effects whatsoever for me, at least in the beginning. A little bit of acne, but yeah, you could see a massive difference already. Like, the chest, just walking around looking way better all the time. See how the legs were looking. Yeah, more size on the legs too. Still was doing those 5x5s, but I started just doing, what's it called? Like 4x8, 4x10 here and there, because I just wanted to get bigger legs. And the 5x5s, you can do them a lot, but there's a certain point where it's like you're getting so strong. Like, I was doing 465, or I even pushed it up at its peak at 495. I was doing sets of like 4 to 5 reps. One of my max out is 5 plates for 6 reps. But like, when you come in the gym on an arm day, it's like fun, right? You're going crazy. But when you come in on a leg day and you're hitting 5 plates for 5 reps that day, you have to like mentally prepare in the gym parking lot in your car. You like really got to warm up your knees and your lower back and do all these stretches, because you're dealing with like serious weight. So it's like, it feels more like work. It's not like fun. This is incorrect. This is before cycle. Still before cycle. This is like just as I started. Still no effect though. It's like 1 week. You're not really going to saturate. This is on. Damn. Quads looking good. Obliques popping. Obviously, I put it like that Instagram filter, the black and white one, which I think it does make the shadows darker or something. I didn't actually like do any editing. This is just a filter, but still, this looks really, really good. This is about like 205 right here. Maybe like 208. I wouldn't say like 210 or 212 yet. You can see the water weight difference. This was like 212. You see the water weight difference? Not as like diced. Like, this is like clean slices in the quads, obliques pop in, direct line down the chest. I literally just woke up in this photo. I know people like just woke up like it's a joke, but I actually did. And was looking pretty solid straight away. Let's see. 213. Yep. Damn, I called it like spot on. But yeah, this is like, I think like a month and a half after this. It's a 5-month cycle of 250 test with the 200 mast. Over here, when I started getting to 215, the final month, the 5th month of the cycle, I pulled out the mast, left the test. If you guys don't know what Mastron, it's going to get rid of, not rid of, but it mildly lowers E. So with lowering your E, it's going to pull down some of that water weight, right? And when that water weight comes down, you look more dry, hence why people take it to look kind of freakish and shit on stage. But here, after I pulled it out, the water weight that it was holding back started seeping back in. Hence why the abs not really showing too much. Like it happened pretty quickly. I went from about 208, 209, pulled the mast out, and then got up to 215 like pretty freaking quickly. Like 3.5 ish. I'd say about like 3 weeks after I took out the mast, maybe 3.5, 4 weeks. Uh, the water weight just kind of poured in like an extra 6 pounds on top of already being on creatine and fully saturated with tea. I actually didn't like how my face looked. Like, kind of, no, this is after I hopped off. But there's some photos here when I was 215 ish where I just looked bloated. So I don't really like that look. This is about a month after. This is during the PCT. I dropped to like 208. About 201, 202. This is like 2 months after cycle PCT. Back looks freaking wide as hell here. This is the 4-day split, obviously, that I'm doing during this time, during the entirety of the cycle, 4-day split. Let's keep going. What is this? Damn. I must have accidentally tapped that and put this in my... Because I airdropped all this shit to my computer. That is ridiculous, though. Okay, anyways. Okay, right here. This was about like 5 months. So 5 months after cycle, completely off test, same workouts. I'm going to kind of go through this kind of quick now because it's becoming redundant. This was still 8 months, completely natty. Not lifetime, obviously, but 8 months after the cycle. Retained a lot of the muscle that I gained because I could not break above like 195 for so long, so freaking long during 2022 and early 2023. And then after the cycle coming off, I held like 202 pretty solid. So, wow, that looks... The side tricep pose is like my strong suit. I look way smaller here than when I hit this pose. It's weird. I think because I have such a wide back, I can press the triceps, so it gives that illusion. But yeah, still looking pretty good. So 200 pounds flat here. Just a solid aesthetic physique here. 200 is like a really good weight. I'm happy with 200. 220 is cool, but I'm definitely a lot leaner here. Let's see. Yeah, after that water weight came out after cycle, man, yeah, it just seeing myself in the gym with all that water weight dropping off hella quick. I love the way it looked. Everybody talks about like, oh, I have to get off cycle. This is gonna suck. Like, feel like crap. Maybe feel a little bit, tired. I understand that for like a month or whatever. But I'm actually excited because I'm like, yes, the water weight's gonna be gone. I can see what I look like. Oh, I don't want like some copyright. Jeez. But yeah, so some time passed. Let's get straight to it. Some time passed, and I wanted to do another cycle. This is still natty, but I wanted to do another one. So this is the second cycle coming up. Still natty in this video, though. Hold on. This is about like 202 body weight. Jeez. I don't really change up my workouts a lot. That's why I'm not talking about it too much. Like, food was about like 3,200 calories a day, 40 grams of protein every 4 hours, about 4, maybe 5 meals a day. I don't count my carbs or fat. I just count protein and total calories. And then I, want to get my protein every 4 hours. Because that's your, you can actually absorb the protein fully. If you just eat one meal a day and you're eating like 150 grams of protein in that one meal, congratulations, you got like, maybe 45 grams of that if you have a decent amount of muscle. If you don't have too much muscle, maybe like 30. And you could look this up, and even Greg Doucette talks about it a lot. Like those 1 meal a day workouts, it ain't it, bro. For actually growing muscle, if you're just like really overweight and you want to lose fat, go ahead, do it. Like you'll be able to splurge out on that one meal and eat like 1,800 calories or whatever in that one meal. So like feel satiated, right? But for growing muscle, it is not optimal. Frequency. You need that frequency in the meals. Still natty here. Where's that cycle? Okay, this is the one I hopped back on. 300 tests, 250 mast. About 2 months into the cycle, or like a month and a half here. Man, like kept that lean look. The water hasn't, because the mast was creeping up on it too. Like I didn't do a 1-to-1 ratio, which I think you're supposed to do. I looked into it, but I was like, nah, 250. No reason really, just 250. And it's just to keep the water weight kind of down, to keep that bloat look off. But this is how the back is looking. This is actually like a month ago, like 3 weeks ago. So a lot of thickness, but a lot more water weight. And this is about like 218 body weight. Jeez. Nah, this is like 3 weeks ago. This is like 220. I measured my weight today. I was 222 today. Fasted as well. Oh no, the music. Hold on. I hope that didn't screw anything up. But yeah, still keeping a lot of the body fat's low. I'm not eating that much, honestly. Like some people want to eat a bunch on cycle and get as big as they can. That's cool if you want to. Me, I'll eat like 3,300 calories maybe. There'll be certain days where I go a little bit more, like 3,500, 3,600 if I'm like, going out and grabbing food out somewhere. But for the most part, I am not eating out, and I'm just eating about 4 meals a day, 40 grams of protein per meal. I'll do like a scoop of protein, scoop and a half maybe. So it's like 25 to 35 grams of protein there. And then whatever I end up eating will have some protein in it. And then if it's like a lot of chicken or beef in the meal that I eat, I just won't do the protein shake with it. The protein shake just kind of makes up for the lack of meat, because I don't really eat too much meat. All right, and yeah, this is what the video started off with. This was literally like a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, I think. Or maybe a week. I can't even tell at this point, but this is how I'm looking right now. 220. I have 1 month left on cycle. I'm going to be pumping out more content, by the way. This video has been pretty long, so I'm trying to capture 8 years of progress, like 7, 8 years in one video, and I don't want to, go over everything like super fast, and I don't want to miss out on anything. So I think 43-ish minutes is fine, but still lean too. Same 4-day split. If you're curious what the 4-day split is, watch my video, the one I posted before this, the chest workout, and I explain it in detail. It's super simple, very easy to memorize. You don't need to like write that shit down or anything. But yeah, so that's the 8-year, 7-year, I don't even know at this point. Let's call it 7-year transformation from 5'5" during that time. Some people won't mention the height because that plays a role in the weight, and they'll be like 60, 70 pounds of muscle gained. It's like, bro, you went from 13 years old, 5'3", and now you're like 6'1". You can't count that in the as like part of it. You have to say the height. So 5'4" in that first picture that I showed all the way back here. 5'4", 5'5", sophomore year. And then, let's see. This was about 120, 125. I don't know for sure. I don't know why. I can't remember. But I do remember 16. I was about 135, 140 here. So, and current 220. But yeah, let me know what you guys think of this whole transformation, what you agree with how I kind of approach my workouts and stuff like that. I'm going to be posting a lot more soon. So yeah, just stay tuned for that. So till next time.